Hi, everybody. This is Christian. And as part of our devotional series at Hill Country, I wanted to talk about the healing of the two demon possessed men in Matthew. It's a story that I recently studied actually in the book of Mark. And I find it really interesting that just the things that surrounded the gospel. So let's go ahead and jump in. I have the text here. I don't want to read it all. But essentially, Jesus jumps into a boat. He crosses over to the other side to this place called this country of the Gergesenes, and he finds two demon-possessed men in the tombs. It actually talks about how people chained them down, but they were so strong that they were able to break the chains, and they were just kind of these crazy guys wandering around. And immediately they identify Jesus. Actually, this is recorded in all three synoptic gospels, so Matthew, Mark, and Luke. And the first thing that happens before Jesus addresses them is that they call out to him asking, "What do we have to do with you?" And they immediately recognize him as the Son of God. And then Jesus goes on to cast the demons out of these people. They get cast out into a herd of pigs, actually, and the pigs drown themselves in a nearby river. So this crazy miracle occurs in a place where Jesus' ministry wasn't centered. He actually got in a boat and went over to this place, performed this miracle, and then went straight back to his center point of ministry at the time, which is interesting because it shows that Jesus came here for the purpose. He knew that these guys were here. He knew that that they would have a ministry beyond once he healed them. Actually, after the miracle, he sent these people back to their city, and they had a testimony to give to the entire city. The entire city knew about them. If we move on to the next slide here, there's just a couple observations that I sort of made around this passage, and as I studied it in the book of Mark as well. First thing is that as soon as they saw Jesus, they were afraid of him. Now when we see Jesus, we have nothing to fear. Jesus is on our side. But before Jesus even spoke to them, they recognized that he had power, and they knew that they weren't on his side, and so they were afraid of him. And that kind of leads us to number two. They recognized his power. Now we, with the Holy Spirit, have the power of Christ in us, and that is something huge. Through Christ, God healed these men and cast out the legion, it says, of demons that were inside of them into the herd of pigs. And it says that he actually allowed them. So it wasn't because the demons were powerful and they moved along. It was because Jesus actually permitted them to move into the herd of pigs. And they knew that he was powerful. Now we have that power. Because of Jesus' power, we don't have to be afraid. And that's something huge to center our lives around, especially in this time of kind of confusion in our world. And then the last thing I wanted to look at was that Jesus allows trouble. Now, these guys, I don't know how long they had these demons in them, but they had struggled for a long time, long enough that the entire city knew about them. And Jesus allowed that to happen. God allowed them to have the hardship. In our lives, God's going to allow hardship, and he's not always going to tell us why. But God asks that we trust him, and we know that he's powerful over anything that we can experience. So this is something huge and something that I really take to heart in this time, and I hope that you do as well. Have a great and blessed day.